What is going on, everyone, and welcome to WreckTalk. I hope you're having a fantastic whenever it is that I upload this video. I'm not sure. But I wanted to talk about the Sports Talk J Carolina Jackpot debate we did this past Friday. Now, a lot of people responded extremely positively to that. I got a ton of comments. Hell, there's several hundred comments, I want to say, on there now. But a lot of them were like, hey, do more of this. We love this. Now, if you're not aware, this is the first time you've ever seen me. I do college football weekly. I do it every other week, and I named it weekly because I like things that don't make any sense, right? But we will be doing a debate this coming up Friday with a panel of 3, I believe now. So it's basically around the horn. We shotgun different topics. Everyone goes around. I assign points on my whim. I even mentioned that during the debate. If this was, college football weekly, I'd deduct points for this, that, or the other. It's a ton of fun. Uncle Lou's a regular on there. Pigskin Pete's a regular on there. Carolina Jackpot's a regular on there. Sports Talk Jay has an open invite if he wants to come on this show, as well as really anyone else that has a channel is welcome to come on there. We've had a ton of different people, and it's a ton of fun. But what is my opinion on this? How did I think they did? Cards on the table. I'm a huge Carolina Jackpot fan. I think he could be the most entertaining person. Like, if you want to watch a live stream that's hella entertaining, go watch Carolina Jackpot live stream a game. Stop what you're doing now. Go watch one of those. I've met him several times. I would consider myself fairly close to Carolina Jackpot. Ton of respect for him. I don't really know Sports Talk Jay. I've never talked to him before this debate. I talked to him on the phone, communicated with him through email, etc. But I don't have anything against Tennessee, and I don't have anything against South Carolina. I don't have anything against Sports Talk Jay. I just don't know him as well as Carolina Jackpot. So those are my biases on the table. Now, I also am no fan of the SEC either. So there's another bias for me. So I guess getting down to how I thought they did. First, Sports Talk Jay. So I thought Sports Talk Jay did a good job of presenting his case and just staying on point. He kind of had, as far as I could tell, 3 points. The first one, which I asked him directly about, was Connor Stallions. That's like his most smoking gun piece of evidence. Then the wristbands, and then basically a collection of spurious circumstances like the 9 straight touchdowns, which we're going to talk about. I did do some fact checking. Like, don't quote me on all of this. I'm not going to spend 8 hours of my life looking at every single game these teams played for that season and the season previous. I'm just not going to do that. But he never moved off of that. And I also thought he did a good job of bringing up weaknesses in his argument, which is that I can't prove this. Like, none of this proves my case. We're going to talk about that too. You do this in academic research, by the way. You'll say at the end of your paper, that you're attempting to get published, you'll basically say, these are the problems that people will have with what I've presented, and either here's why more research is needed, or this is a serious problem that this theory or whatever is going to have. How do you like that, Colorado? There's a bunch of Colorado fans that are like, do your research. Like they have the first freaking clue what that entails. Go get published and then talk to me. So I thought he did a good job with that. I thought Jackpot did a good job coming in. And basically, his job was to show plausible deniability. And I will say, and I've talked to him on the phone about this, if I was him, I would have forced Sports Talk Jay to take a hard position. I did try to get him to clarify his position of like, okay, what exactly are you saying? Are you saying they cheated or are you not? He did not say they're cheated. Basically, his position is, I'm not saying they cheated, but it looks like they cheated. Now, if you're watching this Sports Talk Jay, comment if I'm misrepresenting you. That's what I gathered from what you said. Now, I do think that's problematic. So if you're a diehard Sports Talk Jay fan, I want you to put yourself in a South Carolina fan or Carolina Jackpot's position. you're nearly making an unfalsifiable argument at that point, which might sound great. Like, oh, unfalsifiable, it can't be proven wrong. That must mean it's really good, right? And this is coming from someone who's done formal debates. Universe creating pixies are also unfalsifiable. Leprechauns that appear behind your head that disappear anytime someone looks at it or you turn around or a measurement is attempted to be made on this leprechaun, it disappears. So there's no way you can witness it. Also unfalsifiable, and why generally these things aren't allowed in the realm of science, at least. I get people debate unfalsifiable things all the time. But anyways, if I was Jackpot, I would have forced him to take a hard position on, are you saying they cheated or are you not saying they cheated? If you aren't saying they cheated, then what are we doing? Then what are we debating if you're not saying they're cheated? Because that is the topic of the debate. And the topic of the debate is A or not A. Either they did cheat or they didn't. There's both things can't be true. Only one of those things can be true. So it seems like you would need to take a hard stance there on something that has a dichotomy like that. If you are taking the stance or the position that they cheated, then the burden of proof is on you to demonstrate that, right? And it's on you to demonstrate beyond a reasonable doubt, or however you want to define it, but the onus is on you to prove that they did cheat. This is how like logical debates work. So let's get into some of the things that were said. So one thing that was repeated over and over was 9 straight touchdowns. 9 straight touchdowns. So the record, I think, for consecutive touchdowns in a game was in like 1890 or something, 17 straight. It's not uncommon to have 5 or 6 straight touchdowns, even with conference in like SEC play. I shouldn't say it's not uncommon. It is relatively uncommon, but it's not the rarest thing that ever happens, right? It happens. Happens every season, multiple times. So let's go look through that game. So I've got like the box score and team stats and everything pulled up. So just looking at the stats, and you tell me what you think. There's nothing on here that pops off as far as the team stats as foul. Spencer Rattler did play out of his mind, 453 yards, 31 of 38. Relatively same rushing yards, which is interesting because South Carolina had 50% more attempts around there, right? They are 40 or whatever you want to say. I have to do the math. If you look at time of possession, South Carolina had the ball more too, which is something, it's a point that's interesting to bring up. You would think if you had their signs, you're just bang, 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 scoring. But they almost doubled up Tennessee in time of possession. That to me is something that would go against cheating. And I'm just talking about looking at this page. Or, that's a big question mark or something that would have to be explained as to, okay, if we have your signs, how do we double you up in time of possession? Now you might say, oh, well, they just knew when to run, and when to run equated to 38 rushing attempts to 28 or whatever. One fumble lost, etc. Let's go look at the play-by-play here. So this was the thing that was brought up that was incorrect. So Tennessee did not score 9 consecutive touchdowns. We can count them together. They scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The half ended. Then they punted coming out of the second half. So they had 5 consecutive touchdowns. However, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I think 10. 9 of 10 possessions they did score, as opposed to Tennessee's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think Tennessee did 5 of 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think that's 5 of 11. Now, one was a fumble as well. So, maybe that brings up some questions. However, to me, this is just for me. Once you start going into something happening once or a team playing really well, and it seems like an outlier being evidence of cheating, it seems like everyone could play that game. Let's go to the biggest thing, Sports Talk Jay. They scouted the Clemson game. Now, post an article or whatever. Send me the article if you can find it. I could not find an article that said that he attended the Clemson game. Excuse me. However, there are articles saying that he bought tickets to the game amongst other teams like Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, Clemson. He did, I think we can say as a fact, bought tickets to those games. Here's another article stating that fact. However, and this is from the State. So it says Stallions purchased one ticket for Clemson, for Clemson's 2022 home game against Syracuse. According to Tiger Illustrated, the ticket for that matchup of AP top 15 teams never got scanned. According to the website, meaning Stallions or someone working on his behalf ultimately did not redeem the ticket at a gate entrance and enter or attend the game at Memorial Stadium. So it's not clear whether or not, I believe to this day, he was ever at the game. So if we can't even prove, correct me if I'm wrong, that he was at the game, I guess my question is, where does that leave us? If we're going to go back to, how well they played in that game and the wristbands, let's talk about the wristbands too. It does seem odd that they would only wear wristbands against them in Clemson. However, let's just try and be a jury here and think, what would an explanation for that be? Tennessee runs probably more plays than any team in the country. And with a team that you're playing tempo, you might want to have wristbands. And we need to clarify about the wristbands. They did not wear them on offense. The only person wearing a wristband on offense was Spencer Rattler that I could see. Now, they did have like defensive linemen, defensive players wearing wristbands on defense in that game. But then you have to think, okay, like what are the odds of scoring 100 on a test versus a 0 on a multiple choice test? They're the same odds. To get a 0 on a multiple choice test, to guarantee that, you'd have to know what the right answers are and avoid choosing them. So it's possible that the outlier is not necessarily the smoking gun evidence you think it is. Also, if you watch this game, there's some absolute freak catches that are made. And the wristbands in and of themselves does not mean that they cheated. And to be fair, Sports Talk Jay, his position is he's not claiming that. However, he is bringing it up as evidence that they cheated. So this is my big takeaway. Because Connor Stallions, let me see if I can find it here. Soon after Stallions bought a ticket to Clemson, records state that he was buying tickets for 2021 and 22 SEC championship games. So this goes before 2022 that he's alleged or did buy tickets to scout different teams. This is where I think this is difficult when you're like not coming out and saying whether they definitely cheated or not. What prevents any team from doing that? Like Alabama, right? According to this, he could have scouted Alabama. Let's go look at the Tennessee-Alabama game. Alabama punts, touchdown, punt, field goal, touchdown, field goal. Tennessee, touchdown, fumble, touchdown, turnover on downs, and that ends the half. Tennessee put up 52 points on Alabama in this game. What prevents Alabama from playing the same game here is what I'm wondering. Hey, you scouted us, you cheated, you stole our signs via Connor Stallions because we're also a playoff contending team that they would not want to play, even though Michigan ended up beating them in Saban's last game or year, right? And all the evidence was destroyed. All the evidence was destroyed, and this looks suspicious that you did this well against Alabama. I think the only other team Tennessee scored that more points than that's a Division I team or FBS team was Vandy. What prevents Alabama from saying the same thing? Well, the only reason you won is you cheated. Connor Stallions and all the evidence was deleted. All the evidence was thrown into a river somewhere. Also, what prevents Clemson from saying the exact same thing? And they would have more right to do so. And I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't really see Clemson fans coming out claiming that Tennessee cheated or anything. But you beat Clemson in the playoffs, and the whole Connor Stallions thing was not wanting to play certain teams. First of all, how do you know Connor Stallions? How do you know who Michigan would rather play between Clemson and Tennessee? Like that year, it seemed like Tennessee was probably the better team. Wouldn't they have wanted Tennessee to win that game? And I guess to round this out, it comes to Occam's razor, which is misunderstood. It's probably the most misunderstood things that people quote. What they'll say is the solution, the simplest solution is preferred or something like that. That's not what Occam's razor is. Occam's razor is the solution that requires the least amount of assumptions. And for me, it doesn't change my life or my career on YouTube one bit, whether South Carolina cheated in 2022 or not. Looking through this, it seems like you need to assume a lot of things happened in order to say South Carolina cheated. Right? Now, I guess we'll never know at the end of the day what happened or didn't. That being said, pay attention. We're going to be doing more debates like this. Maybe we'll do post-debate analysis, or I'll do post-debate analysis as well. I mean, I guess just think like if you were being convicted of a crime, like there was a murder in your apartment complex, and you're a suspect. Hey, the murder happened in the apartment adjacent to you, and you are never home during the time that this murder is proposed to have happened. We know you were in your apartment. You're never in your apartment. This murder happened. Guilty, Your Honor. It just doesn't work that way for me. That does not mean that you killed the guy, and you're never going to be convicted based on that, right? So let me know what you think in the comments. I guess we'll put this to bed and we'll find something else to debate. I mean, we're going to have a ton of things going into the season. We'll talk to you guys next time.